How are you embracing this new celeb status? Yeah, laughter, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know if I want to be a celebrity, but I don't know. I don't scroll like I don't have Twitter. I don't have like all that stuff. I don't keep up with like celebrity news like that. So, I feel super chill. I was at home for 5 days doing nothing. I felt very normal. So, I didn't feel like a celebrity. Alysa Liu just pulled off something that hasn't happened in American figure skating in over 2 decades. And the world is still trying to catch up. Double Olympic gold at Milano Cortina 2026. A historic title, millions of new followers overnight. And now Hollywood is sliding into her orbit, whether she asked for it or not. But the most interesting part of this whole story isn't the medals. It's what's happening around her and what she's choosing to do or not do with all of it. Let's start from the beginning because context matters here. Figure skating in America has had a complicated relationship with the Olympic spotlight. The sport dominated headlines for decades with names like Michelle Kwan, Kristi Yamaguchi, and Dorothy Hamill becoming household names well beyond the ice rink. But the last time an American woman actually stood on top of that Olympic podium in the singles event was 2002 when a 16-year-old Sarah Hughes delivered one of the most shocking performances in Winter Olympics history at Salt Lake City. She went in as an underdog and walked out as a gold medalist. After that moment, American women in figure skating kept coming close, kept generating buzz, kept producing incredible athletes, but that top spot stayed out of reach for 24 years. Then came Alysa Liu. She didn't just win, she won twice. Gold in the women's singles, gold in the team event. At 20 years old, she did what an entire generation of American figure skaters couldn't. And she did it on one of the biggest stages the sport has ever seen. Milano Cortina 2026 became her moment and the world noticed in real time. Now, here's where it gets interesting because winning is one thing. What happens after winning is a completely different story. The minute those scores went up and it was confirmed that Liu had done it, the machine started moving. The press requests, the magazine features, the brand deals, the social media explosion. She gained 7 million new Instagram followers almost immediately after the games concluded. 7 million people who didn't know her name a few weeks ago were now hitting that follow button because they wanted to be part of whatever was coming next for her. That kind of growth is the kind that PR teams spend years trying to manufacture. And she got it organically just by being extraordinary at what she does. Music, and then the celebrity world started paying attention to. Paris Fashion Week was happening right around the same time as her post-Olympics press run, and Liu found herself in that world, crossing paths with Zendaya. Now, Zendaya at this point is arguably one of the biggest entertainers on the planet. Music, she's been on an unbelievable run herself between her acting work, her fashion presence, and her cultural influence. The fact that these two were in the same space, both at the top of their respective worlds, felt like one of those moments that the internet was destined to screenshot and analyze for weeks. But it didn't stop there. Liu also made her way to Broadway, catching a performance of Oh Mary, and she got to meet Simu backstage. And then during her Today Show appearance, Daniel Radcliffe, one of the most recognizable faces on the planet thanks to his years as Harry Potter, was there backstage as well. In the span of just a few days, she was moving through a social world that most people spend their entire careers trying to break into. And through all of it, she seemed genuinely unbothered. That's the detail that keeps standing out because most people in her position would be leaning all the way in. They'd be taking every meeting, saying yes to every appearance, building the brand aggressively while the momentum is still hot. That's the playbook. You win big, you capitalize immediately, and you ride the wave for as long as it lasts. But Alysa Liu doesn't appear to be reading from that playbook at all. When Access Hollywood asked her directly how she was processing the sudden celebrity status, the millions of new followers, the constant attention, she didn't give a calculated PR answer. She didn't say something vague about being grateful and excited for the future. She said, and this is pretty much a direct quote, "I don't know if I want to be a celebrity." Just like that. Honest, clear, and completely unbothered by how that answer might land. That kind of self-awareness at 20 years old in the middle of what is probably the highest profile moment of her life is genuinely rare. Most people get a taste of that kind of attention, and it rewires something in them. The validation, the access, the feeling of being wanted by everyone. It's a powerful thing, and she's essentially saying she's not sure she even wants it. Then the Dancing with the Stars question came up. For anyone who doesn't know, Dancing with the Stars is one of those shows that has become a pretty standard next step for athletes after their Olympic moment. It's a well-worn path. You win a medal, you do the morning show circuit, you maybe write a book or announce a partnership, and then you show up on Dancing with the Stars and introduce yourself to a whole new audience. Plenty of Olympic athletes have done it and done it well. It's not a bad move. It keeps you relevant during the transition out of the competitive spotlight. So, when the reporter asked Liu if she'd be open to it, there was probably an expectation of at least a polite maybe. The kind of non-answer that keeps options open and doesn't close any doors. But Liu's actual answer was something along the lines of no, I don't think so, sorry. Casual, direct, not mean about it, but absolutely not interested. No hesitation, no diplomatic softening, just a very calm no. And honestly, that answer tells you a lot about who she is. Now, let's talk about Jenna Elfman because her involvement in this story is genuinely fun and it opens up a whole different angle. Elfman is best known for playing Dharma on Dharma and Greg, the late 90s sitcom that made her a household name. She's been working consistently in the industry for decades since then and has maintained a real presence in pop culture. She's also clearly someone who pays attention to what's happening in the world because after Liu's historic run at the Olympics, Elfman hopped on her Instagram story with a very specific observation. She pointed out that she sees a strong resemblance between herself and Alysa Liu. Not just a passing similarity, but enough of one that she came in with a full creative proposal attached. She suggested that she should play Liu's mother in some kind of future project or that Liu should come in and play a younger version of her in a flashback. She was enthusiastic about it, making clear that this wasn't just a random thought. She'd actually thought through the logistics of how it could work on screen. She wrapped the whole thing up by saying she loves Liu, which tracks because it came across as completely genuine admiration from one person watching another person do something extraordinary. The thing about that kind of celebrity cosign is that it carries real weight. Music, when someone who has been in the industry as long as Elfman takes time out of their day to publicly say, hey, I see this person and I think they belong in this world, too. Music, that plants a seed. It reaches audiences who might not have been paying attention to the Olympics. It introduces Liu to a whole different demographic, and it frames her not just as an athlete, but as someone with a screen presence worth paying attention to. Whether Liu wants that or not is, as we've established, a completely open question. Because here's what makes her story so compelling beyond just the athletic achievement. She's at this genuinely rare intersection. She's young. She's talented. She's just accomplished something historic. The doors are wide open in front of her, and she's looking at all of it and saying she's not sure she wants to walk through any of them. That kind of restraint, whether it's intentional strategy or just pure authenticity, actually makes people more interested in her, not less. There's something magnetic about a person who doesn't seem to need your attention, even when they have all of it. The athletes who chase celebrity the hardest are usually the ones who fade the fastest. They saturate themselves across every platform and every appearance, and then people get tired of them before they've had a chance to actually build something meaningful. The ones who pace themselves, who stay a little mysterious, who make people come to them rather than chasing every opportunity. Those are usually the ones who end up with real staying power. Liu, whether she's doing this deliberately or not, is doing the second thing. And the cultural moment around her is fascinating to watch because it's happening in real time. You have an athlete who just achieved something historic. A genuine old-school Hollywood figure pointing at her and saying she belongs on screen. A celebrity social circuit that's welcoming her in. And a young woman at the center of all of it who keeps responding to every new door opening with something close to a shrug. Not an ungrateful shrug, not an arrogant one, just the shrug of someone who knows exactly who she is and isn't about to let a gold medal and 7 million followers change that overnight. She said she doesn't know if she wants to be a celebrity. That answer is going to follow her for a while. And here's the thing. The fact that she said it out loud without any visible concern about how it would come across is exactly the kind of thing that makes people want to watch what she does next. That's the paradox she's living right now. The less she seems to want the spotlight, the brighter it gets. Where she goes from here is genuinely anyone's guess. She could lean into the entertainment world that Jenna Elfman is already fantasizing about bringing her into. She could stay in the skating world, defend her titles, and let her athletic legacy speak for itself. She could do something completely unexpected that none of the current conversation anticipates. She's 20 years old with a historic resume and what appears to be a very clear sense of her own values. Music, that's a combination that doesn't come around very often. What we know for sure is that the 2026 Winter Olympics gave us one of the great athletic performances in recent American sports history. What happens next is completely up to her. And based on everything she's said and done since those gold medals went around her neck, she's going to figure that out entirely on her own terms.